Now to create the shader, that's one of the another amazing thing of Houdini. You can, same way you can work on geometry, you can work on shaders, so that's pretty amazing. I'm gonna hit tab and type material, and you have a material builder, and this is where you can create your own shader. We're gonna call this thunder. Let's go inside. And when you dive inside a material builder, you have some surface globals, displacement globals. So these are variables that are by default accessible with these global variables. And then you also have some default outputs and this output collect. Okay, don't need to worry too much about this. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is grab the color of our points. And we do that the same way we would do it inside slops. So we create a bind. We say the name of the parameter, so it's called CD, the color. It's a color type, and we just connect this. And we can connect it directly to the surface, for instance, but in this case, we want it to kind of be emissive, to actually emit color. So it's none of these output variables includes emission. So for the emission, you need to create a bind export called CE, and it's also a color. And when you connect this here, you immediately get emission. You don't need to do anything else. So now if you go to the objects, I'll select these two and I'll choose the material to be, let's go to matte thunder. Okay, so this is thunder, that one is thunder. And if you go to the render view, now we can render, and we should see this to be white, and then we should see a gradient on these ones. Okay, notice the gradient on those ones. Cool, so we're on the right track. Let me stop this. Going back to the material, diving inside, we're actually going to be using PBR emission. So let's go to type tab, PBR emission. You have, when you type PBR, you'll see you have a series of PBR options. PBR diffuse, emission, lighting, reflection, a lot of stuff. These combine, the combination of all of these pretty much just sums up to a principal shader. In our case, we don't need anything else. We just want the emission. So we can just select the PBR emission, and we can connect the color there. And as you can see, the output is the CE that we're generating here, outputting through this bind export. And the advantage of this PBR emission is that you will have an intensity here and these options. Though for now, we're just worried about we just want to be able to work with this intensity, which is it's going to be helpful. And we're also going to be kind of creating some variation on the color of these, just so they're not completely flat. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is by creating an edge fall off. Let's see what this looks like. Let's connect this directly to the color of the PBR emission. And these are the parameters that we have. And we can expose this parameter, but for now, let's just work with, see what the default value gives us. Let's render. You can also just render a region. I'm gonna hold Shift, click and drag, and just render out this region. I don't have anything else, so it doesn't gonna make me, it's not gonna give me much faster results, but as you can see, it kind of just isolates this area. Now on the edge fall off, if you lower this value, let's say you lower it to 1, you get something like this. So the fall off is different. If you go to 10, you get something like this. So you have darker areas. The idea for us is we just want to have a gradient going from white to black, and that's the main goal. For now, I'm going to be working with an edge fall off of 5. Okay, this gives me enough variation. I think it's cool, good enough. And the next step is going to be for us to actually grab this gradient and remap it using a ramp parameter. First, we're going to need to convert this vector information, this color information, into a float. So we have a vector to float. Let's connect this here. So now we will be able to just export one float, create a ramp parameter. And this ramp parameter, we'll give it this input. I'm gonna call this color ramp, color ramp. And this is the color that we're gonna be using. If we go up, pressing U, now we have this color ramp. Right now the result is pretty much the same, but the great thing about this is that we can actually just switch colors. Let's go here, and let's say instead of black, I want 0.1, 0.4, 1. Okay, so now I'm starting to have some variation. I'm gonna add another one here, and this next one is gonna be 0.01, 0.04, 0.1, so it's much darker. Next, I'm gonna add another one here. Let's say the tip is actually going to be the same as this one, so 0.1, 0.4, 1. We'll have a bit of white here, and we can have a bit of blue. Let's grab some blue here. Let's say this one is going to be 0.07, 0.3, and 0.78. Okay. And finally, I'm just going to play with these until you get some interesting variation. Just shape it the way you like it. I think this is good in amount of variation so far. Now, as you can see, we don't have the gradient anymore. So we'll need to multiply the color that we had before. If we go inside, so this was the color that we had before. Everything's white. We just have a gradient around here. Okay. So if we multiply these two, let me stop the render. Let's go to multiply. And we can multiply the result of the color ramp with the color coming from the points. And then this is going to be the result. As for the intensity, I'm actually going to middle click on the intensity and promote the parameter so that we can control this from the outside as well. So going up, now we have the intensity here. I'm going to be working with an intensity of 2. And let's see what this gives us. Okay, so we have some warmer areas, some hotter areas, and then we have some cooler areas, but this variation is going to be interesting when we apply glows and everything to the final effect. Okay, so this is our thunder material.